From Capitol Hill, Senator Steve Daines. Great to have you this morning, Senator.
Hey, good morning, Aaron.
Well, obviously, we're in a position that I think nobody would have anticipated a year ago, 6 months ago. Schools closed for at least 2 weeks. Restaurants, bars largely shut down in several major cities across Montana. What's your focus on Capitol Hill right now?
Well, first of all, my focus has been spending a lot of time on the phone talking to Montanans. I've just been in back-to-back calls, whether it's the hospital leaders across our state and hospital CEOs getting a quick update around where do they stand in preparedness, whether it's talking to our Montana Chamber of Commerce and their board and all their different business leaders, hearing updates from their respective industries, talking to the hotel and lodging group. Boy, they're just getting pounded by this. They had occupancy rates of 80% here 2 weeks ago, and now they're like at 20%. There's layoffs going on right now. This is moving very, very rapidly. And talking to our ranchers, I'll tell you what, Aaron, what's going on at the moment here with the spread between what our ranchers get paid by when they sell their cows versus what the packers are getting on cut meat. There's a real big problem there, and in fact, I'm engaged with the Justice Department to take a look at that. It's got to be investigated, these monopolies that these packers have after that packer fire in Nebraska. So, and then on top of that, you see what's going on with oil prices, right? I mean, they're down 15% further yet even this morning, which is going to have an effect certainly on parts of our economy in eastern Montana. But anyway, let's talk about what's going on here in Capitol Hill. And thank you, by the way, for clarifying when the Senate received that bill from the House. There were some Democrats that were trying to politicize this and say that the Senate's not ready to go. Listen, that bill did not come to the Senate until yesterday morning at 9:48 a.m., for what it's worth. There were some who said, well, they passed that bill last week and the Senate wasn't here to act on it. That's baloney. That's politicizing it. And I tell you what, Aaron, I am tired of Democrats or Republicans that are going to try to politicize this very important moment in our nation's history here dealing with the coronavirus. So I just hope that both sides will just say, let's focus on the solutions here. Enough of this crap of saying, well, the Senate wasn't here. Good grief, we were ready to act. It'll be on the floor today, and there's a good chance that bill actually gets passed today following some amendment debates.
Yeah, and appropriations bills have to start in the House, so that's why it has to. Some of these things have to go through the House first before the Senate can act on it.
Well, sure, yeah, exactly right, and it's okay the House acted, but listen, the bill they moved forward was so bad there were like 40 or 50 pages of corrections done to it over the weekend. So they moved really fast, but it was something that was really bad, and so it had to get fixed. And so we had to wait until the fixes were in place. We received that legislation yesterday morning. It's on the floor now. The vote will likely happen here this afternoon in a few hours. And that really deals with some of the safety nets here, taking care of folks who may have the symptoms of the coronavirus, to ensure that there's an incentive for them actually to stay home and not come into work sick, so you're not spreading it around. So there's some safety nets there, some safety nets for Montanans who may be tied up right now with child care challenges. You think about the fact that schools have been closed. They've got to figure out how to deal with child care when schools aren't open, and I've got to go to work. And so we've got some provisions in there for that. That's part of the safety net that will be passing the Senate today. The Phase 3 part of this is going to be focused on the economic recovery. And there's still a lot of debate going on what that will entail. But we've got to be helping, first of all, Montanans that are getting laid off. There's some backstops, whether it's unemployment insurance. I've been chatting with some small businesses yesterday. They have business interruption insurance, but yet right now the insurance companies say we won't pay it because we don't view this coronavirus as a business interruption absent of some kind of federal declaration. I'm working that right now with the administration to get the declaration so Montanans who have business interruption insurance can actually get paid out for that, because if this is not an interruption in your business, you tell me what is.
Senator Daines, lots of talk about what could be included in a stimulus package, potentially a $1 trillion stimulus package, maybe $1,000 checks to every American. What do you hope to see in a stimulus package?
Well, there's two things we got to do. One is ensure we're taking care of those who are losing their jobs, those who are struggling now in terms of the workers of this country. The other thing we got to be careful and take care of are the small businesses that are having to make these decisions because they've lost their revenue coming in. And so we're looking at, for example, some provisions with some loans that we could help these small businesses. Some of these businesses have SBA loans. Why don't we grant forbearance for the principal and interest payments till the end of the year so they can get through this difficult time? So we've got some ideas here that are going to help our small businesses. They're going to help the employees. A lot of debate going on right now, Aaron, around what will be in that package. But the president, he wants something that is going to be moving quickly. He wants something that is moving correctly. In other words, it's the right policies, and it needs to be bold. This is a moment in time here where we need to act here to provide this bridge, some help right now as we get through this unprecedented event that we've never seen before. This is a global pandemic, and we will get through this here. And the bottom line is this: as Montanans, we are strong, independent people. We're going to get through this. We're going to look back on this. We're going to learn a few things from this. We will get through it. I think just a reminder for all of us, we're in the midst sometimes these difficult times. I remember at 9/11, right? In those weeks after 9/11, it just seemed like, where's the world headed next? And gosh, we got through that. We're stronger because of it. The same thing will be true of what's happening here today.
Well, and I agree. I was chatting with the Yellowstone County Commissioner John Oslin just yesterday, and I agree with him. We hunkered down, we pushed through this. We can come out stronger on the back end of this. Our economy is just going to be waiting to explode once again. Well, what's your thought?
It will. And Aaron, just one other thought too. For those of us who have a lot of loved ones who are senior citizens, my mom and dad. My dad's 80, mom's 77. Cindy's folks are in their mid 80s. They're all living in Bozeman. We need to do the right things to protect our seniors. And you think about in the history of our country, we are grateful that we are free today, Aaron, and protected because of our veterans who served us in prior generations. It's our duty now to do the right things because they're the most vulnerable. For most young people, the coronavirus resolves without any serious issues. It's the seniors is the concern, and we're doing this on behalf of protecting our seniors. So it's a pretty small sacrifice to make right now for the sake of protecting the seniors across Montana, and that's just a way I think we need to think about this as we go forward.
About a minute and a half to go before our next break, and I know, Senator, you've got to run, but in the midst of not only working on coronavirus funding and economic stimulus to that, you've also been looking out for Montana when it comes to things like, hey, getting equipment for the Montana Air Guard's C-130Js. Talk about some of the other Montana specifics you've been focused on back there.
Well, two things. The C-130 is part of our Montana Air National Guard up in Great Falls. We have the oldest C-130s in the country. We've got 8 of them. The good news is we just got shortlisted to upgrade those, what they call the 130J platform. That's really good news. We aren't quite with the final decision, but the fact we're on the short list, I think, is a tip of the hand that we're going to resolve this successfully. I sent a letter to the Secretary of the Air Force, Barbara Barrett. I know her very well, advocating on behalf of MANG that we get this upgrade to the C-130J platform versus the H's. The other thing, Aaron, that I know Montana's concerned about is this Real ID October 1st deadline that's looming. You realize on October 1st, you don't have a Real ID compliant driver's license. You can't get on an airplane unless you have a passport.